చెప్పి ఒక వీడియో రిలీజ్ చేశారు. ఆ తర్వాత టీజర్ చూసాం. చేయడానికి రెడీగా ఉన్నారు సూపర్ స్టార్ మహేష్ బాబు గారు. ప్రొడ్యూసర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఫిల్మ్. హార్టీ వెల్కమ్ టు యు సార్. అడవి శేష్ గారు, గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ అండి, వెల్కమ్. సో మీకోసం అందరూ ఎదురు చూస్తూ ఉన్నారు ఇప్పటి వరకు. అండ్ అలానే మూవీ టీమ్ సాయి మంజ్రేకర్ గారిని కూడా వేదిక మీదకి రావాల్సిందిగా రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నామండి. శశి కిరణ్ టిక్కా గారు, డైరెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఫిల్మ్, వేదిక మీదకి రావాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాం. అండ్ అలానే కో ప్రొడ్యూసర్స్ అనురాగ్ అండ్ శరత్ గారిని కూడా వేదిక మీదకి రావాల్సిందిగా రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నామండి ప్లీజ్.
I think so. I think I've been, I'm a proud patriot and I love this country. Somebody who grew up in the US, I remember standing in front of the TV in 1996 when Rahman says Vande Mataram came on the TV. I would actually be standing and saluting the TV. This is me as a child. So I feel it's very different to be patriotic and it's very different to be jingoes. I think jingoism implies that we are better than others. Patriotism implies how much are you willing to do for your country. And I think that's what this film is about.
Okay. Hi, Nitin here from Pop Diary. So first of all, trailer looks amazing, and we had this interaction that this movie is kind of difficult because it's period drama as well. Like you have shown 90s, 80s, and the childhood of Major Sandeep. So Sachi sir, how difficult it was to portray the 90s period and the childhood of Major Sandeep?
The movie speaks about various slices of life, and each slice is a period. So it's not to elaborate, but to the extent that we have, we did a lot of production designing to show that. Yeah, it was difficult at times, but we could overcome that.
Okay, and says the story of Major Sandeep is too heroic, too inspirational. But there is the story of his parents too. That we had talked many times. Like in the trailer launch as well, you said they were not convinced at first when you talk to them, when you interact with them. But how was the process throughout, and what was the reaction when they first saw the movie, watched the movie?
They have not seen the full film. I've shown them several scenes from the film. They've actually gone for a wedding to Kerala. They're going tomorrow. After they come back, I'll be showing the completed film because we only just got it ready. We got it ready yesterday morning and we showed it to Mahesh Babu yesterday. That's where we are.
But as you said in the trailer launch, Sandeep's mother said that वो आप में आप वो देखती है मेजर संदीप को, तो वो कैसा रहा वो एक्सपीरियंस, एंड फाइनली वो क्या आपको लगा कि आपने वो अचीव किया?
अगर अंकल और आंटी फिल्म के रिलीज के बाद मुझसे आके कहेंगे कि यस मेजर संदीप्स मेमोरी हैज बीन कीप्ट अलाइव, वही मेरी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट विक्ट्री होगी। इसके अलावा आई थिंक वी हैव अ फैंटास्टिक एंटरटेनिंग फिल्म फॉर द ऑडियंस। तो काफ़ी लोग को फिल्म के रिलीज से पहले ये टेंशन होता है कि यार फिल्म रिलीज होने के बाद व्हाट विल पीपल लाइक इट। हमारा टेंशन ऑडियंस के रिएक्शन के बारे में नहीं है बिकॉज हम 1500-1600 लोगों को दिखा चुके हैं। तो पता चल जाएगा 1600 लोगों में कुछ छुप नहीं सकते। So at this point, my nervousness is to make sure that Uncle and Auntie can say yes, you have done us proud.
But when you showed the film to 1500, 1600 people like you're talking about, what was the one common reaction all of them had?
I think the first 30 minutes of the film is extremely simple. You're talking about a life, parents, friends, girlfriend, and काफी लोग कह रहे थे हमें समझ में नहीं आया कि यार इतने ग्रेट पर्सन को आप इतना सिंपल दिखा रहे हैं। And what happened is each of those simple scenes connects to something extraordinary in the second half. So the worth of the first 30 minutes in the film comes from the second half. So एक चीज की अहमियत हमें तब पता नहीं चलता जब सीन चल रहा है। Much later जब मेजर संदीप उस मेमोरी को याद करते हैं ना फिल्म में, then we understand the value of it. हर सीन को first half an hour में ऐसे प्लेस किया। I think this was a common thing that I think Mahesh also said last night. Thank you so much.
But how emotional?
Just one question. Yeah, just to elaborate what Saiee said, I think we've had a number of screenings in Bombay. So he had a lot of focus groups, and so we saw the first half. I saw the first half of the film, and I sat with him. And I said, so exactly like what he said, the first 30 minutes of the film. So he had a big smile on his face. And he said, so he watched the second half also, so we can discuss. So I knew exactly what he meant, because everything was connected so beautifully in the second half. And it was just like a roller coaster ride. And the last half an hour, I would say, was something else. And I have to just congratulate the entire team for that. And very few films, very few cinematic experiences. I don't know, it didn't come to my head. And when I saw that, so I think I just walked out of my cinema theater. And I don't know, I was wondering I don't know what went into Saiee said. So I went and I sat quietly for 2 minutes. And I think so they came out after 5 minutes. and I didn't say a word. And so it was, it just stayed in my head that 5 minutes, and my throat was dry, and so I had this, there was this feeling in my head, and it happens very rarely. And it's one of those films, and I really, when I shook his hand and gave him a big hug, and today I'm very, very proud for the kind of film that he Saiee and his team. And then he went on to say that these were the feelings they got from the focus group, more than they were screening in Bombay. So they had a lot of people who came out of the theatre with big, they just came out with the sense of, so that's what happens when you see the climax of the film. And they made a sensation.
But a film like this always has a lot of pressure because you're portraying someone on big screen. What kind of pressure, what kind of conversation you all had before making this film?
I mean, from the perspective I've been interacting with them from 2 years. I don't think it was a pressure for them. I think it was a responsibility. So I don't think they ever felt there is pressure. The only pressure the team felt, if you ask me, I think it was the pandemic, because the lockdowns were happening.
Check.
They were not sure when the release of the film would happen, when the theatres would happen. So these were the pressures that they're going through. But other than that, I think they felt they had this huge responsibility, because this was a very important story to be told. And so they did a brilliant job.
मेरा एक सवाल श्री से है, फिर एक मैं अभिषेक शुरू, फिर एक सवाल सबसे पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। मेरा सवाल आपसे है शशि, कि जब आपने शेष को तो कास्टिंग हो गई, फिर शुरू होने से किया आपने बनाना, आपकी बातचीत सारी की कन्वर्सेशन जो है, जो संदीप के पेरेंट्स से हुआ है और उनको पोर्ट्रे करना फिल्म में, उनके लिए प्रकाश राज और रेवती की जो कास्टिंग की है आपने, क्योंकि इस फिल्म में संदीप उन्नीकृष्ण के रोल के लिए शेष तो आपकी चॉइस फर्स्ट डे से रहे। इसके अलावा जितनी कास्टिंग हुई, चाहे साई की हो या प्रकाश राज की हो, रेवती को, शिवता दुलीवाला की, वो कितनी चैलेंजिंग रही? क्या प्रकाश राज, रेवती ही आपकी फर्स्ट चॉइस थे या आपने अलग अलग लोगों को लुक टेस्ट किए उसके लिए?
फर्स्टली टू आंसर, शेष ने पहले अपने आप को संदीप उन्नीकृष्ण के रोल में ले लिया था, उसके बाद मेरे को बुलाया, मैंने इसको कास्ट नहीं किया।
ओके।
Then I came into the project because he's been traveling with this story, with this character, with this Sandeep Unnikrishnan ke live biopic ke bare mein. I know him for 10 years or 12 years rather, and he's been telling me that this is one of his dream projects, and he was already there, and I know how much he is wanting to do this. Uske baad we met parents, and then we started exploring the other people in his life. And when you keenly observe them, when you keenly see them, what they are, how they are, and now you're making an all-Indian film. All-Indian film mein you can't have an actor who is good with a certain language but not with others. So you need to have that sense also. Usme, I don't think we had any other choice, but right from beginning it was Prakash sir and Revati ma'am, and we didn't do much of screen tests, but luckily Prakash sir knows Sandeep sir's father. मिले थे पहले कुछ पहले occasions में मिले थे, so he knows how he is, what he is, and all. So he instantly got connected, and when I narrated his part too, he really got very much connected. And the same with Revati ma'am. When I told about how auntie is, what auntie is, and what Sandeep means to her, and instantly there was a strong connect to her. And then that worked, that really worked.
शेख से पूछना चाहूँगा कि आपने संदीप के माता पिता से बात की ही, बाकी लोग जो संदीप उन्नीकृष्ण के जीवन में थे, उनकी गर्लफ्रेंड हुए या उनके दोस्त हुए, उन लोगों से भी आपकी मुलाकातें हुई क्या इस फिल्म के लिए?
जी, अभी जो उनके चाइल्डहुड बेस्ट फ्रेंड युगंधर जी हैं, शशि उनसे he spoken with him and we got a lot of experiences. और मेजर संदीप की जो फर्स्ट कजिन है संध्या जी, basically his sister in that sense. संध्या जी से तो हमने काफ़ी बात की है. Mrinal, he was a kid practically raised by Major Sandeep. उनसे बातचीत की. His colleagues in the NSG 7 Bihar Regiment, his superiors in Kashmir, अलग-अलग लोगों से अलग-अलग experience. His teachers, Frank Anthony Public School. Obviously,
साई का जो किरदार है वो
no, I have not spoken to her. But in Sabse, we got a lot of memories, videos, photos. So it's also a tricky space because for us it's important that we keep her privacy. क्योंकि she has another family now. So बहुत important है कि we respect the boundary.
एक महेश बाबू जैसे जैसे शशि ने अभी कहा कि हम एक इंडियन फिल्म बना रहे हैं, मेकिंग इंडियन फिल्म. हम लोग बम्बई में या दिल्ली में जितना भी पढ़ पाते हैं यहाँ तेलुगु के अखबारों के बारे में, there have been statements of yours that you don't want to become a pan-Indian star, you want to remain a Telugu star. Your films might get dubbed in Hindi and other languages, but you are not keen to go to that level. Is it?
I wasn't saying I wasn't keen to go into that level. I was always saying that I wouldn't want to do Hindi films. I would always want to do Telugu films. This I've been saying it a long time. So now I'm very happy that what I've been saying is happening. So I always was in the strong opinion that what my strength is to do a Telugu film. And so the emotion, what I know, is a Telugu film emotion. But today, the emotions are so strong, the films have become so big, that eventually, I think the line has blurred, and it's become Indian cinema. So what I thought is becoming true, and I'm very, very happy.
Will you be taking the Indian Hindi film heroines and character artists in your films, in your future films?
What's that?
The Hindi film heroines will be there in your films?
Everybody is acting in everybody's films now, sir. So why not?
So that was future prospect of Saiee.
Hi.
It's just last question is Saiee. Saiee, ये फिल्म जो बनी है बायोपिक है और इसमें आपका किरदार जो है काफ़ी चैलेंजिंग है क्योंकि ये फिल्म एक्शन फिल्म है. पूरी फिल्म एक ऐसे कैरेक्टर के आसपास घूम रही है जिसका आज प्रारंभ और अंत सबको पता है. ऐसी एक फिल्म में आपके किरदार को जब आपको ऑफर हुआ होगा ये कैरेक्टर कि आपके संदीप कम्युनिकेशन की गर्लफ्रेंड का, आपकी पहली फीलिंग क्या थी और आपने कितना स्टडी किया इस कैरेक्टर के बारे में?
मेरी पहली फीलिंग थी कि मुझे ये करनी है बिकॉज मैंने जब पहली बार स्क्रिप्ट सुनी, जब सेश आए थे, तभी ही मैंने डिसाइड कर लिया था कि आई हैव टू डू दिस. और मैंने आई थिंक थ्रू आउट द प्रोसेस ऑफ दिस फिल्म सेश और शशि सर का दिमाग खाया है. 1000 क्वेश्चंस पूछ के ये ऐसे करना है, वैसे करना है, क्या करना है, बिकॉज या फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डबिंग इन बोथ, शूटिंग इन बोथ लैंग्वेजेस, Telugu being a very fairly new language for me, I think that was the biggest challenge in my head, and getting the character right even in a different language. हाँ? टिप्स मिले? नहीं, महेश पापा से मिले.
Excuse me, can others ask questions, please? We've been waiting. Hi, I'm Yashika Mathur from Outlook. You've produced Telugu films earlier, and with this, a larger territory you're going into with Major as a producer. I want to ask, as a producer, what was your vision, and how did you find that balance to come with a film that is not appealing, not just in terms of content, but also in terms of marketing and the box office, that it will get a good response?
I was not so much of thought, really, like I said. And so, first of all, I have to thank Anurag and Sharad, for making this happen. Because, like I said, I've admired Sesh's work before. And so when Anurag and Sharad came up with this idea that, Sesh has got something in his mind, and it was a film called Major. So that's when it excited. And so we immediately said yes, I would like to associate with it. And that's it. So we didn't think much about it.
Does the number game make you nervous?
No, Not at all. You know, when you believe in a film and you make a good film, then that film is there, and that will take care of all the numbers, I feel.
Thank you.
Shashi, my question.
My flight got delayed and I landed on the 6th morning, so it got delayed to 9th. So, and unfortunately, she has a shoot on the 9th.
Yeah.
So that's why she couldn't make it.
No, so my question
Yeah.
was that, she had put out a post saying, the film is very close to her heart. And with what I saw in the trailer, it looks like she plays an NRI hostage. Can you just tell us something more about her role? No. Okay.
About Shobita.
Yeah.
And what I said was correct.
Like,
I'll keep it very simple. It's about the hostage side of the story. We've all seen Taj from the outside, from the media, from people like us on the television and people like you, and outside the barricades of the Taj. But what really happened inside is the inside story. So this comes through Shobita.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Murtaza. Shashi, I have a question for you. And I also have a question for the producer. I'll come to that later. I want to understand while you were making this film, what were the kind of references you had for yourself and for Shesh? If at all you had any references, because I'm sure you must be putting a lot of meticulousness as it shows in the trailer also. So, does it have any origins, any thoughts that would have inspired you?
No, the story fundamentally it's an original. It's based on a real person. So, and I mean, he's the
Visuals, in terms of visuals, because these wall-like visuals, larger-than-life graphics.
I mean, not directly. You keep watching a lot of films. There's no particular one reference, but yeah, it's just a general thing. I mean, there's nothing particular, nothing one source of inspiration, but in general, there will be a lot of inspiration. The way you want to make it. Yeah.
Any specific references you had for Shesh while he was portraying this character?
Not particularly, because in the part of research, we have got so much material about Sandeep sir. I've in fact met some of his friends directly. I've got some videos. I've showed them to him. He's seen them, and it is more it's not very physical. It's more emotional. It's the emotional part that we took out of. Yeah.
I think it has come out really well. One question for the producer, and I want to ask this question because I want to understand, while you are acting and while you are producing a film, how does the creatives change for you?
You're asking me this question because it's never happened to me, so this is the first time I'm doing something like this.
So how was So how was this different from the other times when you were acting? Was it more pressure? Was it more involvement at different levels?
There was absolutely no pressure from my side because, like I said, my involvement was not much for this film. Because other than meeting them a few times and whenever they would bounce ideas, I would be very excited. Like I said, I admired their work before. And when they said they were doing a film like Major, it was very exciting for me to be part of. But my wife, Namta, was very much involved with them, and like I think she was involved in all the ground work. But since you asked me this question last night when I was watching the film, I did feel that little pressure. Okay, now this has come to the point where when I'm watching the film. So what have these guys done now? But after watching the film, I really felt proud of the entire team, and it's one of those films where you're really happy, and you can just say, yeah, we did a good film.
I for one would love to see you do both, act as well as produce your own films.
I've been doing that for a long time, sir.
But then you said that this is the first time that you are feeling this.
Other than me acting in it.
Any plans of directions in the future?
Let me act now. Please, I've been doing a very good job at it, so let me just concentrate on that.
Will you be open to doing OTTs as well? Because OTT is now the new...
I never really thought about it, but I think I'm meant for the big screen.
Hi, I have a question over here. Yeah, hi. Shubha from PTI. Yeah.
like we have been talking a lot about the emotional core of the film, which makes it a perfect serving for as an Indian film. Was it overwhelming for both of you, like Saiee and Sashi, to switch in and out of that emotion, because you have been living with that for really long, and when you were performing that, how was it?
I think, as Mahesh sir said, it was it wasn't about pressure, it was about responsibility. So I'd often call Auntie and say, we have this thing, see, when you're encapsulating 31 years of a life in 2 hours, you obviously can't, you can't actually make the same scene happen. You're taking 5 different moments from 5 different experiences and combining them into one scene. So I'd often ask them, Auntie, this is the situation, this is the scene, how should I react? And I'd often think maybe he'd be serious. And she'd say, no, he'd just laugh and be bright and crack a joke. So there was so much about Major Sandeep's discovery that was actually that's what made it really enriching as an experience. And it was always about from a place of responsibility and not pressure.
Yeah, so was it overwhelming for you to perform on screen?
I don't think it was overwhelming to perform. I think it was overwhelming to perform, stop, not be allowed to shoot for 4 months, and then again start and get ready into the zone and stop. And, that sort of thing. Because it's a very massive film. It's 120 days, 75 locations, Kerala, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Haryana, Kashmir, lots of army locations. It's an extremely big scale films in a period set.
Thank you.
Now that you have played him, a real life character, anyone else biopic that you would like to be part of? This question is for all 3 of you. Any other stars, that actors, or anyone that you like?
Just give this poor guy a break. He's done something amazing, so I think just give him some time to enjoy this film.
What about you and Saiee? If given a chance, whose biopic would you like to be part of?
Never really thought about it, actually, but never really thought about it.
महेश सर इधर मेरा सवाल है सर जर्नलिस्ट नहीं
See, that's the newer generation. You want to
सर मेरा सवाल आपसे ऐसे जर्नलिस्ट के तौर पे नहीं है, बस एक सिनेमा आप एक एक्टर के तौर पर एक जो रीड होता है पैन इंडिया, आज पूरा सिनारियो है पैन इंडिया स्टार होने का, वो इंटरनल पीस कहाँ से आप लाते हो? वो फोकस इतना आप कैसे हैं कि आपको पता है कि मुझे तेलुगु में ही अपनी फिल्में लेकर आनी है, आपको कोई रीड नहीं है, ये कैसे आप लेकर आते हो? दूसरा, मैं इतने सालों से आपको देख रहा हूँ, वो आप वैसे के वैसे देख रहे हो, बल्कि और ज्यादा हैंडसम होते जा रहे हो, इसका राज क्या है? इन पर्सन देख रहे हैं सर, और ज्यादा आप अच्छे लगते हो।
First of all, I'm a very happy person. I'm very blessed to have an amazing wife at home, amazing children at home. So I'm very blessed. And to answer the other question, it was very simple for me, sir. I don't know if I'm sounding arrogant, but I did get a lot of offers in Hindi. But my simple thing is, I don't think they can afford me anything. So that's the reason I can't waste my time, because the kind of respect I get here, the kind of stardom I have here. So I never really thought of going, leaving my industry and going to another industry. And I always thought that when you do films here, it will become bigger. And so my belief, is becoming true now. And I cannot be a more happy person than you.
सर लेकिन हमारे जैसे ऑडियंस जो आपको चाहते हैं कि हिंदी में भी आप फिल्में करें, कहीं ना कहीं आप वो उनके लिए एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आप नहीं देखते?
That's a responsibility. The Hindi audience want to see South films now today. What else do I need?
We had to cut down on the amazing things he has done, because some of them on a movie screen, they can be unbelievable. लोगों को लगा भजन कि यार इतना भी कोई इतना भी अच्छा कैसे? So we had to bring down some of that to actually make the public think this is real. But in reality, I feel he's even more poetic than what we were able to show in the film. What we magnified, I think, are the action sequences. I think the film's got fantastic action. It was lovely working with Sunil Rodriguez. I think we have stuff that's world class in terms of the action. So the emotional quotient of the film is genuine. The action is very entertaining.